Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Great Day Houston. Okay, so over the past several months, the question I'm asked the most is, how did I lose weight? It wasn't a one-size-fits-all solution, and it's not just a matter of calories in and calories out. So over the next few months, I'll share more about what I did, but I will tell you that it started at the cellular level. Take a look at this picture a few years ago. I was exercising and eating better, but it didn't seem to work. That signaled a problem at that cellular level. For me, that turned out to be hypothyroid. Our first guest gets to the root of a weight issue and helps us to connect the dots with the foods we eat and our overall health. Food can kill you, or it can save your life. She's known as the First Lady of Nutrition and New York Times bestselling author of 30 books, including her latest, Radical Metabolism. Dr. Ann Louise Gittleman. Good morning.
Good morning.
So this whole connection with food and our environment really started for you as a young child.
As a young girl. I had a real issue, Deborah, with my skin. I found that everything I looked at would end up on my skin. So I was very, very conscious of writing about skin in each and every one of my books, which is why in Radical Metabolism I talk about hemp seed oil as being the next best thing to get rid of eczema, psoriasis, and acne, believe it or not.
Yeah, and skin, of course, the largest organ of the body, right? And
it's a detox organ.
Yeah, and oftentimes we'll tell you when something's going on inside of your body.
You got it.
Yeah, and oftentimes what we do is we want to medicate the symptoms away. It's like if you have eczema, let's just put something on top to make the eczema go away. But if you haven't gotten to the cause of that eczema, you're really not fixing anything.
It's all about root cause in this day and age. And that's why what you're cooking is just as important as what you're eating, which is why I write about toxic cooking utensils.
Right. Okay, you are a certified nutrition specialist, but also a PhD in holistic nutrition.
You bet.
And sometimes when you say holistic, people kind of go, oh yeah, that's not really medical, is it? That is the basis of medicine, isn't it?
It's functional medicine and integrative medicine from all over the world, from all over the cultures and all over the days in which we used to use herbs and we used to use special foods to heal our symptoms.
Yeah.
Right now we just use medicine, but now we go back to the original medicine, which is herbs.
Yep, food is like medicine, right? Okay, you were one of the first to say that obesity and diabetes are caused by a lack of the right type of fat. We seem to be in a world of so many absolutes that people grab onto. In the 90s, fat was evil, and people were like, avoid fat at all costs. And what did we switch to? We did more carbs and more sugars and things, right?
You got it.
So there is good fat and good carbs, and we have to keep that in mind.
Yes, there are. And they're the right fats that we need to integrate into the diet that I talk about in Radical Metabolism, which are not those heavy-duty bacon and all the sugars that people are eating in this
Don't
day
talk
and
bad
age.
about bacon.
Got to get the good bacon.
The good bacon.
The good bacon.
Right.
The nitrate-free bacon.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what we talk about here. It's cleaning up your foods. And in terms of the fats, we want the fats like hemp seed oil, pine nut oil, sesame seed oil, and hemp hearts, as well as flaxseed oil. So we want the lighter oils, which are so good for the metabolism, and of course good for the skin, which is one of my issues.
Yeah. And when you saw that picture of me, people come up and go, gosh, how much did you lose? 20, 30? How many pounds did you lose? I didn't really lose that much in terms of pounds. What I lost was inflammation, and that's what I understand more about now. And inflammation is another sign that something's not right in your body, and oftentimes that inflammation can come from foods.
It can come from foods, food sensitivities, or toxic metals in terms of the utensils that you're using to cook your foods in.
Yeah, okay, speaking of, let's go to some of these things that you say we should get out of our kitchen.
Get out of your kitchen.
Yeah.
They're as dangerous as a poisonous serpent.
Okay, this one right here, okay, we bake with it, we freeze with it, we do everything with just a little aluminum foil, yeah. What's wrong with that?
Well, the aluminum foil can get into the food. So what you're cooking in is what you're dining in. You cook in aluminum, you dine in aluminum. You cook in iron, you're dining on iron. You cook in copper, you're dining on copper. All that gets thrown into the gallbladder, which gunks up the bile, which is connected to the thyroid, and I make that connection in my book.
Yeah.
So we got to clean up the foods that we're cooking in. We have to clean up the utensils, and instead of aluminum foil, we use parchment paper.
Okay. Yeah, and you talked about the thyroid. There are so many things in our body that can function at their optimum, but they're always under attack. And so what you're kind of saying here, let's remove some of those things that are attacking parts of our body.
Remove the toxic load,
Yeah.
and it's right in your kitchen. And one of the things that we need to understand is a lot of pots and pans are made from aluminum. So it's not just the aluminum foil, but the pots and pans.
Right.
So what we do is we use a magnet trick. Now you see what I'm doing here in terms of the magnet? The magnet is sticking to the bottom of the pan.
So that's how you figure out, okay.
So
yeah.
we know that this is not aluminum, that this
Right.
is stainless steel, which you can use because aluminum is non-magnetic.
Yeah, the magnet will stick to steel and iron, right?
Steel
okay,
and
yeah,
iron.
there you go. I think that
Steel
one is
and
not,
iron.
I think that one is not aluminum.
Not aluminum,
Okay.
not aluminum, folks.
All right. And then some of these other things right here, you have some better options.
Well, we've got some clay, unglazed clay that is not glazed is very healthy, especially some of the pots and pans that we're seeing, some of the cooking utensils and casserole dishes that are kind of infrared heated when you're using clay, which is very healthy in this day and age. But the thing that is very important, because it's linked to disease, is iron. Now, I was taught years...
But we're supposed to take iron, right? Some people are iron deficient.
It's a double-edged sword. So what I want to say with iron is it can be a killer or it can be a lifesaver. So if you're over the age of 50, as some of our viewers are, then you want to make sure that you check your iron levels. If your ferritin, which is stored iron levels, are above 100, you stop using your cast iron pots and pans.
Okay. Yeah, because too much iron can cause some other issues.
Well, it can cause problems with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, obesity, and diabetes, and shorten your lifespan. So this is a major risk factor for every single disease that we have in the 21st century. This can be a killer or a helper.
Okay, and then what do we have right here?
We have
coffee.
We have the best coffee. This is called Purity Coffee, which is mold-free. We're also finding that the coffee is a source of toxins and pesticides and mold, so we want the purest coffee we can find if we're going to be using coffee in our everyday program, as you do in Radical Metabolism.
Yeah, all right. I want to get to that book in a second, but one of your most popular books as well is the Fat Flush Plan.
Yes, indeed.
And so flushing fat out of your system, and fat, of course, is one of those things that, we oftentimes focus on it just for the appearance of it, but really, what can sit in fat is where we find toxins, right? Which can kick off things like cancers.
That's right. So you want to make sure that your liver is functioning properly, as well as the gallbladder and the bile, which is the focus of this book. So you want to detox, flush, and in so doing, you're kick-starting your thyroid. So all of that is connected, and we've never made the connection before as I do in Radical Metabolism. Yeah. So you lose the weight and also moderate and heal your thyroid, your liver, and your gallbladder. And if you don't have a gallbladder, we tell you what to do just to make sure that you're supporting its function.
We've mentioned thyroid a couple of times, and I had no idea. I knew that we all had one, but I had no idea what all that it did until I dealt with my issues after having my son, because oftentimes whether it's menopause or hormonal changes in women, after having my son, that's what happened, and I was super, super tired. I was depressed. I had no energy. But when I went home to go to sleep, I couldn't go to sleep, and I was getting like little colds and things. And I never get sick. So you start to realize how important that thyroid is. It rules everything in the body, just about, doesn't it?
Very much so. And as women get older, sometimes their skin gets drier, they start losing their hair, they can't sleep, and they're very constipated. You get your thyroid moving properly.
I'm regular, honey. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Well, thank God. Thank God. And all of Houston now knows.
Yeah, right. No, but it's interesting because it's easy to fall into, because I had gone to several doctors, and they said, okay, well, we're going to give you a little something for that mood of yours. We're going to take you out of that depression. We'll give you something to help you lose weight. We're going to give you something to help you go to sleep. And they were medicating the symptoms.
But they didn't get to the root cause, which was a hypothyroid. And then the levels that they use in the traditional tests are not really the healthiest levels. So you've got to know what the optimally healthy levels are, not the levels of a sick population.
Right. And so I ended up with a doctor who really got that with me.
A functional medicine doctor.
And bioidentical hormones for me, and I was back to where I used to be. All right, radical metabolism. What does that mean?
That means that we get rid of all the toxins that are sitting on your thyroid, affecting your gallbladder, and we get you to lose weight, especially if you're over the age of 40, or if you're a no to slow loser. We get you on the right fats, the right bitters. We really amp up your thyroid function as well as your liver function, which is so important in detoxification.
Yeah, and we leave that out a lot of times when we're looking at trying to do a diet plan, if you will, because what we're looking at is like restricting, when really it's not necessarily about that. It's about what kind of foods are you putting in your body, and they have to be real foods.
And they have to feed you on the cellular level. It's nutrients in, toxins out, and that's why the oils are important, the good omega-6s that we talk about, the bitters, bring back grapefruit, bring back chocolate, bring back the good coffee.
All right, some of your radical rules: revamp your fats, restore your gallbladder, rebuild your muscles. I started lifting weights, and I found a big difference in my overall energy and my mood and the whole bit. And sometimes people will say, well, after 40, you're never going to have any build muscle, or you can't lose weight or whatever, but not true.
No, you can. And you do it with the right weightlifting, and you also do it with the right kind of coffee, which is very important in maintaining lean muscle mass, believe it or not.
All right. Your book includes over 50 sumptuous recipes, a 4-day cleanse, and a 21-day reboot. just let's end with how important it is to get that reboot and really go through the cleanse process.
Well, it's very important because you're priming the pump to make sure that the gallbladder is functioning properly, that your thyroid is keyed up, and that you're taking watercress soup, which is the best detox food on the planet. You're losing water weight, losing your inflammation. People on my program lose over 10 pounds in 4 days.
Wow.
And that's a lot of inflammation that just goes flushing out of the body.
Okay, can I warm up that soup in the microwave?
Why not? Oh, wait a minute, the microwave. She said the microwave. You're tricking the nutritionist. You're going to warm up the soup, but not in the microwave.
Yeah. Okay.
Why not the microwave? Because it kills enzymes, and we need all the enzymes to have your body function on a cellular level.
Yeah. All right. We could have you back over and over and over again.
And have some of that soup.
Yes, and have some of that soup too. We'll have that soup with us next time. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
All right. Radical Metabolism is available in stores and online, and we have a link on our site, greatdayhouston.com.